Hi, welcome to Smokin with Swami. I'm Swami Chaitanya. This is Mr. Stretto. And wait, we got entrance Tipu the Wonder Dog. Well, and our special guest tonight is Keidra. And gosh, I forget your last name.
Bell.
Keidra Bell. Okay.
Bell. Hey, it rings a bell now that you mentioned
now
it.
that you mentioned rings a bell. So, and she's a former buyer at Harborside for edibles and concentrates. And she's going to talk with us today about some tips about if you're trying to bring into any sort of dispensary, what they look for, and how to be accepted rather than rejected. So why don't you start right off and say I'm bringing in with some edibles. What are you looking for?
Consistency.
Ah.
You want consistency as far as dosage. You want information on the label, what's in the product, because people are very, conscious about the food they put in their mouth, so they really want to know, how much cholesterol's in it, how much sodium's in it, and all that.
Oh, really? Not just THC and CBD?
Not just THC.
So like on the back of a regular food package, what you see, the whole list of fat and calories and the whole thing.
So if they don't have that, you won't take it pretty much?
No. Because there's a lot of people that have food allergies and they have
they just have to
things.
know.
Exactly. And you want to kind of hone your product in and make sure that it's consistent throughout, especially for potency.
Right.
That's the most.
You don't want too much THC with some
people that eat edibles tend to that's what they do. The majority of people that buy edibles, they don't really smoke as much.
Yeah.
And so they want consistency. So they may buy the edibles for a month. Because that's how they dose and they hand themselves.
How about shelf life for something that has a month on an edible?
Freezer. A lot of times they buy them in freezers.
Yeah.
They may understand, they may eat 2 cookies a day. And
So
that may
as an edibles buyer, do you have to test all of those edibles?
Yes.
That's a big job.
It's best. Well, it's a staff kind of
No,
job.
we used to get samples too. She didn't know us. They try this. But there's some things that, like we got those cashews one time, and Nikki ate some cashews. She ate 4 of them, and no problem. Next night she ate like 4 or 5 of them, and it was so inconsistent, the dosage for. She crawled all the way from here into the bedroom.
Salt and the spice that had the actual cannabis in it all sunk to one part of the package. So the next day when I ate those. I couldn't.
So it can happen with popcorn too. It can be super saturated.
So those kind of edibles you have to be extremely consistent with. And I would say learn how to cook the product first before you put the medication in.
I see. Yeah.
And that's where you get the consistency.
So what are the most popular kind of edibles that people seem to want?
Small and potent.
But any kind of flavor or whatever, chocolate or whatever?
Adults' palates are getting more into the savory, but a lot of times most edibles are sweet.
Yeah.
Well, see that. So I think people. Do you think people prefer? I mean, I prefer a 1-dose little thing.
Yeah.
Rather than something that they say, big, and you're going to eat a quarter of it. Forget it. Yeah. Just
that's my argument. Most medicine is not delivered in a sweet candy.
Right.
No.
Right. So you're not tempted to eat too many of them.
Right.
Exactly.
Whereas now for people who have to take a lot of edibles because they need that high a dose for whatever their medical condition, then it's probably good to have it sweet. But for the average, person just trying to figure out,
small and quick,
taste delicious.
Yeah. So you want to have if you have the dose of the unit that comes out of the box or the package, whatever, that little size unit is what 5 to 10 grams worth.
Milligrams.
5 to 10 milligrams of THC. And that's kind of a low dose. So if you really want to get, Blotzo, you're going to take 5 of them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to just eat 5 because they taste good.
No, because most of the time when you combine marijuana with edibles, unless you combine it in a oil form or some form where it's tasteless and odorless, most of the time it doesn't bind well and it doesn't taste well. So you don't want a bunch of weed taste in your mouth like that. So you want it small and quick to the point.
Because it's medicine for you, really serious medicine for you.
I don't want to have to eat half a cake to get where I need to be.
I prefer the oil type though.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. They prefer the smaller edibles, something they can just quickly get on.
So what about packaging when you come in with your edibles? What do you look for there?
Packagings that are not attractive to children right now. Because they are delivered in sweets. That's a big problem.
And do they have to be like tamper evident or something like that? Or
I would say be prepared to give samples away because the staff is what you're going to utilize most.
Right.
You know, because they're the ones that have direct contact with
right. So you got to convince the people who are the bud tenders that this is a good thing.
And
right.
so that was one of the things we did was we gave it out to staff and we got written feedback from the staff.
Yeah, I see. To test
that way, and that way you can judge consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
If you got 10 people that said it got them really stoned, then you know that product is on its way. You know, it's consistently getting you stoned, so people are gonna like that. You know what I'm saying?
So
especially the higher doses.
Do you find that like people's doses change? Like what you need just to get to sleep, for example, might be 10 to 15 milligrams. At least that's what I feel anyway. But to like say you have like for example, you've been through a place where you've had a lot of pain because you've recently gone through some intense cancer stuff, right?
Yes.
So do you find that when you're in a place that you have a lot of pain, that it absorbs more cannabis, so you need to have a higher dose?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You do. You kind of have to pretty much get so high that you fool your body into thinking the pain is not really there.
That's what you're doing. Oh, so you're just like stoned and you just don't realize.
So what were you using at that point, and how effective was it?
I was using healing oil, which is a form of Rick Simpson oil.
Yeah.
But now we've worked out with Rick Simpson oil how to make it with a better method, because he was using not very good cannabis and naphtha and stuff like that. Now people have figured out better ways to extract it, right?
Whole plant extract.
So this was something orally you were taking?
Yeah, I would take it every morning in my tea.
In your tea? Yeah.
Like
would it
just
get
a
you really stoned, or would you even feel it?
0.2 maybe, and that would get me. No, I would feel it.
You would feel it.
It takes a little bit getting used to, because
yeah, right.
It does. It takes a little bit getting used to.
This girl's from Oakland.
You feel a lot better. You definitely feel a lot better, especially.
Yeah. So now about concentrates. Someone's bringing in concentrates. Things with concentrates have changed so much just in the last 5 or 6 years. Before it was just bubble water hash that was granulated or else something else. But now it's like there's rosin and shatter and oil and wax and so on. So what do you look for?
Same thing, consistency, and then you rely heavily on the test. You want to make sure that it's not, if it's a solvent-based extract, that it's not full of the solvent that they use to extract it. It's not full of different types of metals and things.
So it's got to be clean, and it has to be, what do they call that process? The purging process?
Yes, it has to be definitely purged very well, to the point to where it's not harmful to the patient, because some people need very high doses.
Right.
And because they need such high dosage, you don't want to, compromise, the quality of the product, giving it to a patient that needs something that.
Exactly. No, we're dealing with medicine here, and it's actually our moral, ethical responsibility to make it as clean as you can make it, right?
Exactly.
And that's why we still have testing, because people don't always achieve that sort of level.
Exactly, and it's fairly new techniques. It's as far as extracting that type of cannabis that type of way. So everybody that's out there that's creating a new technique, they haven't gotten it down quite yet.
Right.
Their hearts are in the right places, and their.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think is the best concentrate method? What do you think?
Yeah,
because it's personal, favorite? I guess, I suppose. But of all the ways to make a concentrate, what would you choose?
Probably cold water.
Cold water. Just cold water hash. Yeah. Simple, old-fashioned cold water hash. Yeah.
It's not so old-fashioned.
Well, but it is more.
I guess they used to do bong that way a long time ago.
It ends up more like what you used to get in the old days.
Right.
Really.
I do partake in solvent hashes and things like that, but I feel better when I do.
So, what kind of percentages does the water hash have? The traditional.
It doesn't have as high percentage as, say, the solvent hash. So the solvent hash, it gets up there pretty. It gets anywhere from maybe 50 to, say, as far as maybe 80%.
Of the THC.
Exactly.
But you see, that means all the other things are less.
Exactly.
Because if it's 80% on one thing, all those other things got to be less. Right?
Exactly. So you're missing out on a lot of the different.
Of the 400 other compounds that are there, right? And so the water hash has more of that.
Exactly.
Right? So what do you think the future is? I mean, some people say it's all going to be about oils and no one's going to care about flowers. I personally obviously don't believe that, but what do you think?
I think it's just one of those things that's going so fast that people are going to have to come back to the roots.
The flowers are the flowers are strangely are the roots.
They're going so fast trying to make it. to the point to where they're making it close to pharmaceuticals. Like, hold on, if we're trying to use this as an alternative to pharmaceuticals, why are we making everything like that? And so
Yeah, wow, that's a good point.
You know, and so I think a lot of the times it's gonna be, once the more people get educated, it's gonna go back to its natural form, its natural stage, where people want cold water. People want, you know, they're not gonna want.
And they're going to want flowers too, because
not
the joy
saying
about
that market is not going to be there, but it's gonna. I think the natural market is going to make a comeback.
That's
because,
great.
You know, it's like I don't want my weed to look like my pharmaceuticals. I got enough of those.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. And also now, some of these vape pens, there's other mediums in there besides cannabis that make it burn the way it does, and so. You know, it's convenient, it's quick, it's, you know, it's kind of unobtrusive. I understand all that. But, you know, for the one who wants to really find experience of cannabis totally what it can be, you've either got to go with water hash, or for me, I really just love the flowers, you know. It's all about the flowers. That's where it starts. And the joy of having a flower, smelling it, looking at it, taking it apart, feeling it, and so on.
Exactly. I think it's just going to make a comeback because they've gone so far to where it's like now they're just doing the terpenes.
Right.
And I have no problem, but I want my terpenes to get me high. I want the combination, and you're only going to get that with the natural product.
Right. The entourage, we call that, right? Everything that's in there, and so you just
not
don't
to mention
get that
the mess of all that oil stuff. Like, I mean, today you were doing this dab thing, you know, this mess, and this you heat this up.
Well, but now that's true. But now there are people who need to, like you, need to dab to get your dose because you're on a dose that needs so high a THC thing. The only way to get that in is a dab. And so, like at a certain point, I say, well, even I don't like indoor, but then the fact is, some people, they need to get the cannabis, and the only way they're going to get it is coming from indoor. And so, yes, that's needed, right?
Yeah, you're right.
If you can't get it, that's where it is, you know. But on the other hand, at the very top end is, of course, the sun grown in the ideal climate, and so on. But sometimes, like, you need that heavy depth because you got to put that much in you to deal with it.
Exactly.
Well, and of course, as Frenchie says, Frenchie cannoli, you know, whatever is in that concentrate, in that hashish, it all comes from flowers. So that's the source. So, you know, it's still, it always gets back to the flowers. It helps.
So how much time? We've got a little time here? Okay. So I want to ask you about, various people have this idea about, okay, if there's powdery mildew on the flower, can you still make hash out of it, water hash and so on? And is that still okay? Because now there's going to be a testing thing. If your test comes bad, they want to confiscate and destroy. So what's your opinion on mildew, powdery mildew? Can you still get pure hash from it?
I don't think it's a problem when you do cold water and you have powdery mildew, because sometimes it'll come out in the wash because there's no way to actually kill that particular, you know what I'm saying, bacteria that's in it or whatever fungi is in it. So, but from what I've seen, and there's no scientific proof, it seems like when they use solvents and they have, you know, powdery mildew and mold and things like that, it doesn't come out. So I think.
What do you mean it doesn't? It doesn't transfer into
if they extract it, it doesn't come out. And I'm not saying do that because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me.
Yeah.
But I think you safely say that when they use the solvent, a lot of times it doesn't come out.
Okay, so but that needs to be tested. Actually,
exactly.
That's where we're going with that too.
Definitely. And that's the point. That's why.
But it could come through in water hash, you think?
I believe so. It has come through. From what I've seen.
Oh, you've seen tests from that on water hash that has actually powdery mildew made it through.
You know, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily in the beginning or with the drying process. You can't really tell. You have to go along.
Well, that's true. It'd be a different kind of powdery mildew.
That particular person that is doing that particular water hash, it may be the beginning product, it may be the end result of
well, see, one of the problems with water hash is the drying out afterwards, right? If you pack it up too fast after doing it, it can get moldy.
It may be clean, but they may have dried it the wrong way. So it's kind of hard to tell.
See, we have this wood stove. We have a wood stove here, so stuff dries really, really fast, right? You take it with a couple of paper plates. You make a sandwich of paper plates, and you put the stuff out on that, and you know, flip it over a couple of times.
Everyone has their techniques.
And then you put it through just a regular kitchen strainer, and it turns granular, right?
Yeah.
But you want to make sure it's dry. You know, friends of mine used to pack it, you know, wrap it in newspaper and put it in a paper bag for a couple of weeks before they would ever wrap it up. But we have such a dry climate with the wood
and
stove.
at times in India where it would just get completely moldy.
Oh,
People would ruin.
Oh, because that's a moldy
they would
climate.
leave, a whole kilo would like get moldy
So
because
it
they bury it
it
somewhere.
definitely depends on what process they use throughout. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to have it all tested.
That's right,
And
because
so,
it seems like there's a new process every month or something like
it
that.
really
New way
is,
to deliver.
because that's how progress is. That's how
Ingenuity.
science is. They want to create the best product. They want to create a different technique, and I applaud them because they're getting it down. But I think eventually, as people educate themselves, like anything, they're going to want to go back to the natural.
Well, see, that's what the organic whole food movement is all about. And we're also talking about farm to table, farmers markets where you get to meet the farm. We want to do the same thing with cannabis at a certain point.
You don't spend all that time trying to put the right foods in your body and put the right nutrients in your body to turn around and put chemicals back in your body. And like you say, you don't. I prefer my weed to look like weed. Sometimes it's gone a little too far. It's like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
But I do applaud them for doing it. But it's just, I think people are going to go back to that. It's always going to be a place in the market for that.
So what is the name of that oil that you've been using for your
healing oil?
Healing oil.
Yes.
And who makes that?
I think his name is Eric Johnson, but I'm not absolutely
And so it's
sure
really pure. And what's the percentages you've been using?
I'm using the THC one, and I think it's 70-something% THC. And so it's worked very well for me as far as the nauseation, the pain. It's helped me, a lot. I went from a stage 4 to a stage 1 in like almost a year's time. So.
That's a miracle.
Yeah. And so.
Well, I don't know if it's a miracle. Actually, it's what cannabis does.
It
we have to keep letting it doing. And it's cannabis working with nature and working with our bodies. Yeah. And so, it's a wonderful, wonderful discovery.
I think we're going to need a whole other show on that. This is about to wrap up right now.
Yeah, okay.
And I would love to talk to you on a whole other show about that and the healing power of this cannabis. And besides the fact it comes in a different package every month in a new style, I mean, what variety?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Keidra, and it's great to have you. Keidra is. Yeah, it's great to have you. Is that more blooper roll?
Blooper roll! What's up, blooper roll?
All right, see you later.